Good day, folks. Okay, assignment 5, part 2. There's going to be a guided imagery in just a moment, but before I do that, I want to just say something, just a little something procedurally about the class. I am, I'm attempting to space out these assignments in such a way that honors the fact that many of you, most of you, have very busy lives with other responsibilities, and this class is not the only thing going on in your life. So I want to make it spacious enough that people don't feel overwhelmed and feel like they have a reasonable chance of keeping up. But I also want to put out the assignments frequently enough that folks who are keeping up have plenty to be paying attention to and practice with. So let me know if you want to about whether or not I'm hitting the mark on that, or if you'd like it, feel like you would like it for things to be going faster or slower. And I want to say that if you're someone who if you're not on the current assignment at any given time, that's not a big deal. I certainly don't have a problem with that. For me, going through the class, I enjoy it just as much if I'm responding to somebody who's working on a current assignment or someone who's working on one that's from the past. So do things in the way that, as I've said from the beginning, that makes sense to you with your life and with the responsibilities you have in your life. And so, yeah, make this work for you, okay? And of course, the thing we always have to pay attention to is where we're coming from in everything. And so, if there is some resistance happening which is common, and that's not a problem in itself, you just don't want to, I would suggest you don't want to act out of resistance particularly, because that will inhibit your participation in the class and what you can get out of the class. But if resistance is happening, if conditioned mind is throwing up obstacles or making excuses or something like that, that isn't a place I would recommend that you particularly want to be acting from. We're going for making conscious decisions here in relationship to this class and everyone else in life. So, that's the thing to shoot for. So when you look at your life and you see this is what I have, this is all the responsibilities that I have, this is the other things that I need to attend to. Here's how I can participate in the class that works within that from a conscious place. Great. That is really all I care about. Okay? Okay, let's go ahead and jump right into the exercise. Like I said, it's going to be a guided imagery. So go ahead and have a pen and paper nearby so that you can write at the end of the imagery. If you need to pause the video for a second to go and get that, go for it, and then come back. And then once you're ready, go ahead and get yourself into some kind of posture in which to receive the guided imagery. You're welcome to lie down, but I've had several people comment that it's difficult to stay awake during these imageries if you lie down. So if you feel like you might be in danger of falling asleep, probably best to sit up. Okay? Okay, and then whenever you feel ready, close your eyes. And let's begin like we generally do with the attention on the breath. Let's just take a few moments just to really get here and get centered. Feel the breath as it enters your body and fills your body and leaves your body. See if you can focus all of your attention just on your breathing. Notice if there is anything that you're holding on to right now in this moment that might inhibit your ability to participate in the exercise. Any kind of worry or concern, any sort of regret that you might be struggling with, or a fantasy perhaps, anything that's not here right now in this moment. Just notice if there is anything like that and see if you can let that go. See if you can just set that outside of a place where it needs to interfere with your ability to attend to my voice and what I'll be asking you to attend to in this exercise, knowing that you can pick it up and work with it later if you want to. But just see if you can set it aside for right now. To whatever extent you're able to right now in this moment, just see if you can allow yourself to fully be here. fully be here with your body, with your breath, with whatever feelings are here right now, whatever emotional experience you're having, and with your mind. See if you can just let your mind do what it does. And just watch it. Just watch it doing what it does, letting go of everything that it does. Letting go of a need to take that personally, to take the thinking that's happening in your mind personally, to attach to it, to identify with it. See if you can just observe it and let it arise and pass away. Okay, and then turn your attention back to your breath and your breathing. And take a couple of nice, long, deep breaths. And allow yourself just to sink into a place of relaxation as much as you can right now in this moment. Okay, so for the purpose of this exercise, we're going to need a little piece of fear or anxiety or something similar to work with. So see if there's anything like that around. Take a look around inside of you and see if there's anything current that would fall into that category. Something maybe that's upcoming that you feel a little bit afraid of, or it could be a lot afraid of. It doesn't have to be a small thing, it could be a big thing. Or perhaps there's something, maybe you have a little bit of anxiety or a lot of anxiety about something that is on the horizon. Or maybe there's some other kind of fear that is not based in the future. Some kind of fear about doing it right or doing it wrong. Some kind of fear about being the person that you should be and failing at that. Perhaps there's a fear of pain, of a possibility of pain happening. Just see what arises to work on for the purpose of this exercise. There is no right answer. There's no right thing to work on. Just see what arises and choose what you feel like would be most interesting or most helpful to consider today. If you don't have something that's current, that's okay. You can use something from the past. You can just use a memory from the past of something that you were afraid of, a time when you were afraid, and you can use that too in the same way. Okay, and so if you would please, allow yourself to go into that fear or anxiety. I don't need for you to identify with it to do the exercise, but allow yourself to feel it. Allow yourself to feel what it is like or was like to be in a place of fear and anxiety. What does it feel like in your body? Where particularly do you experience fear in your body? Notice the quality of the sensations of this thing, this experience that we call fear. Okay, and now if you would zoom out a bit in and allow yourself to go into the story that is attached to the sensations. As we've been discussing in the class, fear like everything else that happens in conditioned mind, is a story that's attached to sensation. What in this case is the story? What are you telling yourself? Or more exactly, what is conditioned mind telling you that is causing the fear or anxiety? Said another way, what are you believing that may or may not be true? What is conditioned mind having you believe about whatever the situation is that's causing you to be afraid or to feel anxiety? Okay, good. So now let's take a moment to look into that story and question it, as we've been talking about and practicing throughout the class. So being aware of the story that's causing the fear, ask yourself, what is true about that and what is not true? What is real in that story? What is actually there? What's authentic? And what isn't? What am I believing that isn't true, that isn't real? Those are all different ways of asking the same question. So consider for a moment, what is true and what is not true about this story? Okay, and now if you would, notice if there is a temptation to act out of that story and out of the feelings that go with that story. In other words, notice if there's a conditioned behavior that goes with that story, and if there's any, if you could experience right now the draw towards that behavior. For example, a typical conditioned behavior in response to fear would be to run away in some way, to get out of the situation, to get out of one's body, to get away from the sensations. Do you notice any kind of conditioned behavior that goes with that story? Okay, good. And so if you would please return your attention to the sensations. Let go of the story. Just know that that's just something that's happening in conditioned mind. That doesn't have anything to do with anything that's really going on. And turn your attention back to the sensations. Feel the sensation in your body. Notice where you experience them in your body. Notice the quality and the characteristics of these sensations. And now, if you would, notice that you are not the fear. You are not the fear. Who you are is the awareness of the fear. It's a big difference. You are not the fear. You are the awareness of the fear. Just notice how that's so for a moment. Okay? Going even a little further with that, notice that you are not the person who experiences the fear. Not essentially. You are not the person who experiences the fear. There is a person inside of you. There is an identity inside of you who is experiencing the fear, who lives in the story that is causing the fear. But notice that's not you fundamentally. You can become confused and assume that you are the person who's experiencing the fear. That happens to us all the time. That's what we call being identified. But notice there's no reality to that. Who you most essentially and truly are is the awareness of the person who is experiencing the fear. And see how it is that from this place of awareness, when you are grounded in this place of awareness, you can be with the fear without being the fear. It's almost like it's happening to someone else, even though it's happening in your own body. Notice how you can relate to the fear from outside of it, as if it is happening to someone else. And how it is that you can be with the fear without being the fear. Okay, and now this is similar to what we did with pain. See if you can bring love, compassion, and acceptance to the part of you who experiences the fear. In other words, see if you can hold that part of you, that person inside of you who is afraid, in loving awareness, in compassionate, accepting understanding. See if you can just be with that experience of fear, to say it in another way, simply with love. Okay. Thank you very much. Let that go. Bring your attention just simply to your breath and your breathing. Take a couple nice, long, deep, full breaths. Just allow yourself to fully be in your body and be here in the present. And then whenever you feel ready, open your eyes. And then whenever you do feel ready, pick up your notebook and your pen or pencil and make some notes about that experience. Write down what that was like for you, what you saw, what kind of experience you had. I'd recommend particularly that you look at what the story is, what's true and not true about the story that causes the fear. about the conditioned behavior that you would be tempted to go to in the fear, and then what it's like to just fully be just present with the sensations of the fear, and what happens when you step back into a place of love and acceptance and compassion in relationship to the part of you who is afraid. Okay? There's no right answers to any of that, truly. There's no right experience to have. Just see what came up and make some notes about that. And then whenever you feel ready, let me know what you saw in the class. Thanks as always for your participation. I'm really, really grateful that you're showing up for this in the way that you are. Thank you for that. Give yourself some pats on the back for, for your practice and the commitment you have to your practice and the time and the space and the energy you're giving to it. It's a beautiful thing. Thank you again for being here, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the class.